My name is Rudy Meyer and I'm a pop artist. I come from France and I got this opportunity to exhibit my new series, Game Changers, in RCB Bangkok. And why did I decide to paint the Game Changers? Is because I believe that my education comes from traveling iconic people. Because since very little, I used to be very addicted to biographies and documentaries about people who made an impact in the world. And traveling, because I have traveled to 120 countries, I learned so much while traveling, and this is the base. This is the base of my education, knowledge, culture. So I wanted through this exhibition to, let's say, to give homage to traveling and the iconic people who inspired me all this time. People coming from different backgrounds and culture. As you can see in my paintings and portraits, you have iconic person coming from the US, Hong Kong, China, Greece, France, Mexico, and there is a mix of traveling and biographies into this series. So you can see that in all the paintings you have multiple layers. So first I would start with the background, where I can express my freedom. The background is really very abstract and probably usually like 2 or 3 layers to make the backgrounds. Then I will use a stencil to spray paint the color of the iconic person. And then the layers of silk screen printing used to manually hand-pulled print every character. Each and every one of them is printed multiple times, just to show the multiple personalities, stories of each of every one of the Game Changers. Because as for us, these people have struggled, had dark times, have bright times, and this is what I wanted to express with the different layers. Most of them have 2, some of them are 3. The Muhammad Ali, the purple one, have 6 layers. So in every of these stories, you have dark and light, darkness and light. And what I wanted to express is the way that they usually all come from a struggling place and made it through hard work, resilience, perseverance. They made it through to become who they are and have a massive impact in the world. And all in their own way. So we have some athletes. We have some athletes with like Michael Jordan and Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali became like a bit more politics during his life, as he didn't want to join the war in Vietnam and change religions. You have Bruce Lee, another athlete and movie star. But you also have emperor with Marcus Aurelius. You have philosopher with Confucius and Socrates. You have fashion designer with Coco Chanel. You have celebrities like Marilyn Monroe, and of course artists as Frida and Jean-Michel Basquiat. So all of this, in their own way, they fought life as hard as they could to make, for most of them, a world a better place and to become icons. So as a pop artist, I always been inspired by Andy Warhol, and so as a pop artist, I always been inspired by Andy Warhol and specifically his technique of silk screen printing. I always wanted to integrate this into my technique. I love photography, and compared to him, where he would use silk screen printing to make dozens of his artworks. I don't use it much for repetition, but I use the silk screen printing as a brush. And I like to have imperfection into my work. So you will see that many of my artworks, they have imperfection, stains. This is what exactly I look for when I create an artworks. Almost none of them is clean and sharp, because if I wanted to make something very clean and sharp, I would just use a printer. I like to have, I like to create something unique, something that I can't even reproduce myself. Like if you ask me to reproduce like any of these artworks, I wouldn't be able to do it. And that's in this uniqueness that I like to communicate my art. So all these artworks had been painted when I was in my studio here in Bangkok. My studio is actually like 100 meters from River City, so that makes it very practical. And I have been painting this series for about a year and a half. So it took me like a year and a half to complete this series, because of the techniques and because of the time it takes every one of these artworks. And so the way that it evaluates, it took a lot of change to make this artwork possible. If you look at the first series of the Game Changers, it really didn't look exactly the same. It evaluates until I find something that in terms of aesthetic, I enjoy. I enjoy the aesthetic, I enjoy the layering, I enjoy the story, and I enjoy that it's some sort of a visual poem. Through the layers, you can see the stories of every one of this iconic figure. And I would like to invite every one of you to come at River City Photographer Gallery number 2, second floor, and hopefully you will get inspired by these iconic figures as much as I did.